Hey friends, it's Jacqueline here. Today is a different type of video. It's a tag video. This tag was created by Michelle Wan and Angela Van Rose. It's called a luxury makeup starter kit tag. And I thought, well, I'm also a luxury beauty lover. Why not? Let's just answer to these questions. It sounds like a lot of fun. Thank you so much to Michelle and Angela for creating this tag video. And let's go ahead right here and get started with the first question. It says, where should someone start when it comes to luxury makeup? I think it depends of your preference. If you're looking perhaps for, I don't know, eyeshadows or a base product, I think throughout, my years, I had points in my life that I was looking more into eyeshadows because of pigmentation, because of the way that they lay on the skin. As I start, to become on that group of mature skin. I always say on my fourth floor, I'm over 40 years old, so my eyelids, they are a little bit hooded, and I do have fine lines. So um, I started looking on that route. But I think if I want to start on a point, I will say the base. I think your canvas, how the skin gets a little bit, like even out, perfected. I think that's where I will basically start myself, because starting with a good foundation, the name implies it, a good foundation is where everything else really shines. Call it a tinted moisturizer. You can start right there. Like for example, the water tint from Chanel, even a tinted SPF. I think the base is the start of all things. Having a really good base is what it will really set your makeup for success or complete fail. And if you don't use foundation, in fact, for a certain point in time, I was just not using foundation at all. I didn't want to use foundation, just use concealer, and that's where I started it. So I think this question right here, it depends a lot on your preference, but I will say perhaps base for me. Second question, is there anything you should stay away from? Not really, because every brand has their own expertise. I think certain brands, they really excel at certain products, like say, like I was talking about before, foundations. Some other brands at eyeshadows and so forth. So staying away from a product, not really, unless is because it's an starter kit, and perhaps you want to set a budget, right? And where do I put, that budget towards to? I will say perhaps skip, not completely, leave it for another time, perhaps lip liner, perhaps, um, this is funny. A lot of people say sometimes mascara, but actually, my favorite mascara for years and years was Lancome and then Chanel. And I wouldn't, like, every time that I try a mascara from a drugstore, I simply try it once or twice and then just give it away, because it didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. So I mean, yes, you can say mascara, but I will say perhaps lip pencil. I'm a person that absolutely love everything that has to do with lip products. Um, but I think lip pencil perhaps is something that, okay, you can, it's nothing that is like, oh, I need to have a luxury one to start my kit with. Hopefully makes sense. Okay, let's move on to the third question. If you could only purchase one category of luxury makeup for the rest of your life, what would it be? This is tricky for me, because I feel in a way that I have a specific need. Right now, you see me with makeup, but if you have been watching me for any point in time, you know that I have very dark under eye circles. And I mean, I think we all have fine lines unless you're a baby, right? But I do have fine lines under the eye area, and if I don't use the correct concealer, it will gather and crease, and it will age me even more. Aside to the point that most of the times I have to use a color corrector plus a concealer to cancel my under eye circles, with the exception of a few concealers that are amazing that I can actually skip the actual color corrector. So to me, for my specific need, perhaps it will be the concealer. But if I wouldn't have that need, I would have gone with eyeshadow palette. And the reason why is that with a really good eyeshadow palette that has a really good formulation that doesn't emphasize the fine lines texture that you may have on your eyelids, that it give a very easy blend for you. I think not only it will give you a beautiful, obviously, eyeshadow look, but also if you have a really good eyeshadow palette that has some matte shades, some of them you can use it as bronzers, some of them you can use it as blush, um, some of them you can use it as highlighter, or even if you say, okay, well, let's don't do an eyeshadow palette, but rather a face palette. I think that is kind of like the category that I will go for if, like I said, you don't have a very, very specific need as myself. Now, going into the question number four, what is one luxury makeup brand you will recommend for someone starting out? I will say 100% at least what it has worked for me in most cases, from foundation, concealer, blush, bronzer, highlighter, lipstick. Um, yeah, Tom Ford. To me, Tom Ford, there has been a few products from Tom Ford that perhaps are like, oh, okay, but for the most part, in every category, I can rely on Tom Ford. I can say the same thing about Chanel, um, but I feel I lean a little bit more from Tom Ford, and perhaps that has to do because, I mean, it's kind of like a tie right there, but I think Tom Ford on their eyeshadows is where they get me. Because their eyeshadows are unique. They have different type of formulations, from the classic formulation to the wet and dry formula, also to the new formulation that I'm actually using right now is the Tiger Eye eyeshadow quad, and the Rose Topaz eyeshadow quad is a creme formulation that is a very creamy type of formula that really glides on the eyelids very beautifully. They give a lot of shine without having shimmer or specks of glitter, and I mean, they are just beautiful. So yeah, I think I will go with Tom Ford. What is one luxury makeup brand you will tell someone to stay away from? Wow. That would be like, oh, well, I think I haven't had the best luck with Valentino Beauty. I had high expectations, and the only product that I'm fascinated with is the blush, the powder formula. I ended up not picking up a bronzer, which seems to be the same formulation, and a highlighter, and even a setting powder with the same formulation. I think that's where Valentino Beauty shines on. A lot of people like the foundation, but to me, didn't work at all and whatsoever. It looked more than a soft matte foundation, a very matte foundation, a foundation that looked very dull on my skin. I do have dry skin. Again, I'm on my fourth floor, so fine lines are there. Sunspots, enlarged pores, and it just wasn't favorable. And the lipsticks are okay. I I'm a lipstick lover, and honestly, the lipstick formulation is okay, but the packaging is just of a drugstore. So I think it's I don't want to say stay away from any brand, because I really believe that unless you have repetitive like fails and fails and fails, and it's like, okay, this brand doesn't vibe at all with me at all and whatsoever, yes, stay away from that brand. But in general, to advise you stay away from this brand, no, I would just say, just go with caution. Perhaps this may not be the first brand that you want to try. That's what I will say. Okay, let's go to the next question. What is one makeup brand you wish you tried sooner? Definitely Chantecaille. I think Chantecaille is a brand that it wasn't like a brand that I was looking at to. It's not that the packaging or their products didn't impress me, but just simply, I don't know, it didn't cause me a lot of curiosity until I tried it. And then I realized, wow, I have been missing big time right here. What an incredible formulation from eyeshadows to foundation. One of my favorite foundations is right here. The cushion foundation is gorgeous. I use their SPF. That's the SPF that I'm using today. I love their lip products, their blushes, their cream products. They are gorgeous, so easy to blend, and definitely I wish I have tried Chantecaille sooner. Next question, would you recommend spending money on makeup or skincare? Here, definitely skincare. I will go with the skincare because if your skin is not in the best condition possible, then regardless of what you decide to put on as far as makeup, it will just not look its best. And I would say, even more than skincare, your health in general, what you're eating, the amount of water that you're drinking throughout the day, the amount of sugar that you consume, all of those things, they piled up and they really show on your skin. But going back into beauty in terms of skincare, yes, I will invest my money of skincare, and I will say invest more in medical grade skincare. They show results. Your best skincare product, your SPF, is the one that has proven results. That's the first thing that I will say. Do not skip your SPF. If you can, try to use a vitamin C serum. Those are the things that primarily I will, focus on. And then if you want, other serums and whatnot, then I will say definitely, check La Mer, check Chantecaille. I have a lot of products from them that I honestly love, but I absolutely love, for example, SkinCeuticals. That's what I use. So yeah, the question, I will go and invest my money on skincare. Okay, let's move on right here with the next question. Why do you personally love luxury makeup? I think I find more success on the final result than if I was to use drugstore makeup. That's the honest truth. The way that my skin looks, it doesn't look cakey. The products, they last longer on the skin. The way that say eyeshadows blend, they blend more easily. It's honestly, to me, it's not about the packaging. Yes, the packaging obviously makes it feel luxurious. It looks very pretty, and who doesn't like something pretty, right? Who doesn't like diamonds and champagne? But to me, it's more than that is the outcome. And I find out that, at least with me, luxury makeup, I have find that I feel very comfortable in what I'm wearing, and it's reliable too. Yeah, it's simply the outcome. Okay, going to the next question. Should luxury makeup brushes be invested in? This is an interesting question because luxury makeup brushes, there's different type of luxury makeup brushes. You can tell, okay, a Chanel brush is a luxury makeup brush, a Tom Ford brush is a luxury makeup brush. But you see, in the past, Tom Ford used to have brushes that they were natural hair bristles, and they were fantastic. And then they changed it to synthetic. And then not too long ago, I think about 2 weeks ago, I purchased a eyeshadow brush from Tom Ford, a blender brush, and when I received that, it's like, oh yes, it's a synthetic brush. Well, it's gonna be okay. It wasn't okay at all whatsoever. It definitely felt like a drugstore kind of brush. So I will have to say, to me, where is it at on luxury makeup brushes are footed brushes. Brushes that they are made out of natural hair bristles. And I know you're gonna be like, I don't use natural hair bristles. There are other brushes made out of synthetic fibers that they are amazing, such as BK Beauty brushes. They are incredible, super soft. And even, like, for example, I don't know if you have tried Patrick Tab brushes. They are really good brushes, and they are also synthetic. But anyhow, I think the tools are as important as the technique, because if you have good tools, if you don't know, I have a background in architecture, and I painted for years too. I love drawing. Those are things that are my passion to me. So having really good tools, they really help you to achieve that look that you want. It's as simple as using the right type of bristles. Like for example, you see me that I do a lot of blush comparisons, and sometimes if a blush, like for example the latest blush from Chanel, one of the latest ones from La Pausa collection, one of them is very deep, so I use, for example, a blue squirrel hair bristle like this one by Wayne Goss. That way it picks up not only the right amount of product, but it also disperses in a very effortless way, in a way that it meshes with the skin, it blends with the skin, it doesn't drag, it doesn't disturb the rest of the makeup. Same thing with bronzers, the way that the bristles are bounded, again, the type of hair bristles, all of that, it will really make a huge difference on your makeup. Even if you don't have your technique nailed down, if you are not a makeup artist, I think the tools really help on what is the end result of the makeup look. And again, if you are not ready to invest on natural hair bristles, I will say perhaps start with Refer brushes are is an amazing company that has a ton of amazing brushes for face and eyes, natural hair bristles made in Japan, that they are of the highest quality. And if you're a person that again you don't want to go in that natural hair bristle route, try BK Beauty. I also like very much Smith brushes. They are really good brushes, and also Royal and Lane Nicole. They are really good brushes too. So there's a ton of brushes, and like I was saying, even I was really impressed about this Patrick Tab brush right here. This is a number one brush. I think it's called for face, but I use it for blush. Really good brush as well. Even one of my favorite brushes, this La Mer brush right here. I do have a video talking about my favorite makeup brushes. I will suggest you, if you are curious about knowing more about brushes, to take a look at it. Okay, let's move on right here to the next question. Should luxury perfumes be invested in? Absolutely. Absolutely. I work in the fragrance industry for many years, and I will have to say that between the natural to synthetic ingredients to the complexity of the fragrance, definitely luxury fragrance is where it's at to me. Perfumery is an art, it's a complete art. In fact, if you're new to perfumes, if you're new to fragrances, it's good to get used to the scents, because as more as you smell, you will acquire that knowledge about fragrance, the different scents, the different notes, how they lay on the skin, because definitely we all have different chemistry, but it's important to train your nose, to train your olfactory sense. It's super important. So it's important that you smell, try different perfumes. You don't need to go and buy different bottles. You just need to just go to a department store, perhaps ask for a sample of a couple of fragrances, spray just one or two, one of each arm, go for a walk and start smelling them without reading what are the notes, and try to pick what you pick up from that scent, right? And then read the notes and see if you were able to discover how the scent started, how it developed throughout the day. And I think with luxury fragrances, we're talking about, again, ingredients. It's kind of like say for example mac and cheese that you do it from a box, than a mac and cheese that you do it at home with homemade pasta, quattro formaggi style. Is completely different than the one from the box. Way better. Is nothing to compare. And I think that's where you're investing on a luxury fragrance, whether designer or niche. You are investing on those ingredients, on that art. On that art is not generic. Okay, that's that. The next question, designer or niche perfumes? I personally like them both, although I have a little bit of more preference on niche fragrance because this is the picture right here. With designer perfumes, yes, there are designer perfumes that they are very unique. For example, one of the designer houses that does some of the best perfumes, on my humble point of view, is Guerlain. Also, I really appreciate Tom Ford fragrances and Chanel fragrances too. I mean, if you think about some iconic fragrances from Chanel number 5, 100 years ago, right? The start of that iconic fragrance. But then in the 2000s with Coco Mademoiselle, and then even Blue de Chanel men's fragrance, they have created fragrances that they are very iconic. There are houses such as Dior that they have their private collection. Armani too, they do have their private collection, and that's where the art really shines. Because going back my explanation right here on about designer versus niche fragrances, designer fragrances not all of them, but in most cases, on the regular line, what they are trying to do is they are just trying to appeal a lot to the mass, right? Like, I have smelled this perfume, several times, and um, give you an example, Baccarat Rouge 540, right? Um, an iconic fragrance that when it launched, it really took everybody by surprise. It's a very unique fragrance. Some people, they love it. Some people, they dislike it very much. For some people, it smells like cotton candy. Some people say it smells fresh. For some people, they even think that it has this very kind of like synthetic or even kind of like a metal kind of like scent. And that's why I said it's super important to train your nose, because that way also you will know which notes are the best for you. But anyhow, and then Burberry came out with Burberry hair, and then I mean, even this is not a designer house, but Ariana Grande came with, I think it's called the Cloud. um, and I have smelled those fragrances. Burberry is a good fragrance. The one from Ariana Grande for me is like, oh my gosh, this turns like horrible on my skin. I don't like it, right? So designer fragrances usually try to that's why they kind of like smell pretty much the same because they are trying to appeal to the mass. They all have this very comfortable kind of fragrance that is not unique at all. That I will say they are definitely not those scents that you're going to be like, oh, this is going to be my signature scent. No, while niche fragrances, they give you fragrances that they are more complex, such as Parfums de Marly, Initial, Bon Number 9. By the way, I haven't put any fragrance today. I completely forgot I was doing another video, so let's go for Bon Number 9, Tribeca. And you see, a lot of people, they think that Tribeca smells very alike to Baccarat Rouge 540. And I will have to say no. And I think I even have a review of this fragrance right here. Yes, on the opening, you may find something alike, but it takes you to a different journey. You see, and that's the beauty about niche fragrances. And I will say, from the designer aspect, they also can take you to a journey if you're going with their Privé line, with their more unique kind of line. And this video is not sponsored, but I want to mention, if you are curious to learn more about fragrances and perhaps you don't want to invest right away in a fragrance that costs over $200-300, I do have a discount code with Twisted Lily. It's a fragrance boutique that they carry niche fragrances, and they do offer samples at I think $5-7, something along those lines. But that's a really good way to, just get some samples and discover them. Next question, where is the best place to shop when getting started? I'll have to say definitely department stores, because you'll find so many different luxury brands, and definitely each brand, they have their characteristic, their personality reflected. not only on the packaging, on the style, even the makeup artists, or just in general, the essays that they are there. They really portray the brand essence. And I think that's the best way to kind of find, which brand kind of like resonates with you on, again, on the style and whatnot. So definitely a department store. And the one that I like to shop the most is Saks Fifth Avenue. I I live in an area in California that is not close to LA, not close to San Francisco, and it's right in the middle. So there's really not too many department stores. And in fact, back on the time, very nearby, they opened a Saks Fifth Avenue, and oh, it was just the best time going in there. How beautiful everything looked, how kind everybody was. Unfortunately, they closed it, and now anytime that if I'm in LA or in San Francisco or in a big city, then I get to enjoy Saks Fifth Avenue. But other than that, I mean, perhaps Nordstrom too. No, Saks Fifth Avenue, then Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom, yeah, but Saks is where I feel like, yeah, it's a really good place. Online, I will have to say nowadays, I have been having the best luck shopping at Selfridges. I know it can be expensive if you don't pay their annual shipping fee if you live in United States, because I really think it's totally worth it. I mean, you pay this fee and then everything, even some of the prices are less expensive than what you find, at least here in United States. Also, Cool Beauty, they do have some sales too, and they cheap for a while, feel unique. It's amazing too. So there's a lot of options out there. And then Twisted Lily, like I was saying, for niche fragrances, with my code you have 10% off. Um, Again, not a sponsor right here, but if you wanna at least try, some samples, etc. Next question: if you only have $200, what would you buy? For luxury makeup, that's nothing. Oh my goodness, that's nothing. If I buy one of my favorite foundations, pretty much the budget blew out of the water right there. And one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes too. If one of my favorite concealers is this, and this itself is $90. The budget is too small. Who put that budget? Who put that budget? I will say $500 will be a nice budget right there, but 200. Oh wow. Well, I will definitely buy my concealer. There you have it. Perhaps a bronzer from Sisley, but this one is $120. Oh, there you go. It's gone my budget. um, a Tom Ford eyeshadow palette. Oh gosh, that's a hard one right there. That's a hard one right there because yeah, I think I have to give it some thought. Perhaps some products from Charlotte Tilbury. I will still keep my Tom Ford concealer. But yeah, I think Charlotte Tilbury will be a little bit more affordable and stay with the luxury makeup, like like bronzer, blush. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, the budget is too small. Girls. Okay, what was your first luxury makeup purchase? Do you regret it? Hmm. Sorry if you hear some noise, but yeah. I actually remember going into a Nordstrom and I bought that day a Chanel Hydra Serum and then also a Lancome mascara. And no, I don't regret it a bit. I bought both products for several years, time and time and time again, and I love them and yeah, never regret it. What is your biggest luxury makeup regret? Hmm, should we go back to Valentino? um, yeah, there are some products that definitely have not worked for me. Some fails, definitely, but a regret as such. Um, no, I don't feel like a huge regret in. I mean, fails like I said, the Valentino foundation, a regret right there, but oh, something else. Not really. I mean, I do have one, but it's not luxury. Perhaps it's high end. I think it was an Urban Decay foundation that I reviewed it, I think 2 years ago. I had a horrible allergic reaction. My skin, broke out like never had happened to me before. It was itchy, red bumps all over the face. So, although it's not a luxury, makeup brand, perhaps a high-end makeup brand because it's carried at Sephora and the price is not a drugstore price. I think that maybe might completely regret, but again, it's kind of like a fail. Okay, do we have another question right here? No, I think this is it. These are all the questions. This was a fun tag. Thank you so much, Michelle and Angela, for creating this tag. I think I had at least a lot of fun. I will leave their links to each of their videos on my description box below too, along with everything that I'm wearing today, my makeup, my nail polish, my jewelry, etc. on the description box below. And now it's your turn. I will love for you to answer any of the questions or share your stories with me. What was your first luxury product? Or if you're diving into luxury, what product you're eyeing? I mean, like, let's just continue the conversation on the comment section down below. And while you're at it, and if you haven't done so yet, and if you love everything luxury, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel. Make sure you ring that post notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads, and come and follow me on my Instagram. If you like this video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. Also share with family and friends. And until the next time, I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day. Bye!